Hey everyone, Emmerron here. So, quick update for everyone. So if you're new to the channel, if by chance you have been recommended this video and you have not seen any of my other content, welcome. This is probably going to be less applicable to those of you who are brand new. If you would like to watch some of my content, please do. We have plenty on the channel. Most of it's Cyberpunk Red related, although we have a bit of 2077 content for you all, and I've recently started uploading a Final Fantasy 16 playthrough. So for those of you who want to enjoy some of that content, if you are new to the channel, definitely encourage it. But this is more of an update for those who are already here. And if those of you who are new want to stick around so you know kind of what to expect as I engage on a little bit of a new journey here, you can be informed. So for those of you who have watched my streams over the last month or two, I have been dropping a couple of hints between those, as well as several announcements between Discord and my YouTube channel, that there are some big changes coming in the near future. I'm happy to announce that those changes are here. Namely, the big change of I am no longer going to be full-time employed at a regular 9-to-5 corporate job as of Friday, which is 2 days from the recording of this video. This video will probably go up after I have already left the company, but bottom line, this means some great things are in store that I wasn't able to do prior to leaving my job. Which is a driving factor in why I'm doing it. So obviously it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, and it takes not being exhausted after going to and from a job where I have to wear a button up and commute 30 minutes both ways to get to and from it. At the end of most days during my week, I feel like passing out and sleeping. And sometimes I wake up in 15 minutes and we're good and I can get a video put together and out. And other times I sleep for most of the night and nothing gets done. So that'll be changing. So now I'll have energy. Now I won't have like a strict schedule that I have to adhere to with regards to other employment, because this will be my employment. So the main thing that you'll see changing here is there will be a lot, and I do mean a lot, of new content coming out on the channel, not only here on YouTube, but also over on my Twitch channel. There will be some new content that we're doing. I will probably be streaming quite a bit more. There will be some new series that are still kind of cooking right now, that we're gonna release as more like long form stream content, somewhat similar to what we currently do with Neon Inferno. That being said, Neon Inferno itself will be wrapping up here in the next couple of weeks. Still kind of finalizing that as we speak here today. But bottom line, that will not be the last actual play series we do on the channel. We have plenty more that I would like to do. It's more just a matter of getting those spun up, getting assets, all of that kind of thing, which the separation from my job is absolutely going to help. So where does this place my resulting kind of income, I guess? So I am a small channel, so it's no surprise that obviously I will be leaning more on things like donations through Twitch. Eventually my goal is to get it here on YouTube so that I can monetize through ads and other features such as super chats and channel memberships. So that will be coming down the pipeline at some point in hopefully not the too distant future. In the meantime, I will be spinning up a Patreon somewhat soon. I still am working out the final details on that, but rest assured that as soon as I have the perks and the pricing for all of that figured out, I will make a separate announcement both here on the community page, over on my Discord, probably on Twitter, assuming it hasn't imploded by then. And I'm working on spinning up some other social media as well. So whatever channels I have to announce that through, you will all be made aware of that as soon as I have the news to share. So beyond all of that, I also want to take a moment tonight to kind of share some of my story with you all. So those of you who've been around the channel, you probably heard me mention bits and pieces of this, especially if you've been around on live streams. But I figure condensing this right now for all of you would probably be a good idea, just because obviously it's no surprise that I'm kind of asking for support on this, but obviously the content you've come to enjoy and most future content will be free on the channel. There will be certain things obviously that I am shaping to be more Patreon specific, but again, more to come on that. So my story as a content creator is, by and large, I decided to create content in the middle of the pandemic when a lot of people, I think, were beginning to turn to that as more of like a means of social connection, as well as for several people income. Obviously I've had my job throughout the whole pandemic. I've had it for about the last 5 years, so that didn't change too much for me, and I was lucky in that regard. And so with that said, a lot of the reason I started doing content creation and the reason why I'm excited to continue doing that as a more full-time creator now is because when I was 17, I was given a starter set for D&D, 4th edition, the edition that no one likes, which surprised me because I loved it. I learned on it. I learned as a DM, new to the system, with a bunch of other people who were my players who had no idea what D&D really was. We all kind of heard the stories in and out about it. We'd all kind of understood to some extent that it was a spooky game that in the 80s was vilified for being a locus of devil worship, occult rites, all kinds of really crazy things that none of us put too much stock into. And thankfully my mother, who was the driving force behind me getting into tabletop games, D&D specifically, I'm glad she didn't buy any of that as well, because without her encouragement, I don't know that I would have the channel that I do today and be making the content that I am today. She encouraged me at 17 to get into this game because when she was in high school, she saw a bunch of her friends getting into it. And while she was never a player herself, she saw the kind of people that were picking the game up and were playing together with their friends, and the kind of connections they were making, the kind of conversations that they were having. And she took that as a good sign that a late teen would probably be positively influenced by this. And I will say she was right. Very deeply, I've come to love tabletop role-playing games as more than just a hobby, but also a facet for connection, especially across the time during the pandemic where that was harder and harder to find. So a lot of the people that you know from Neon Inferno, if you've been watching my channel for some time now, many of them I was not friends with, or at least close friends with, prior to the pandemic. I met most of them either through my streaming journey, connectedly through some other people that I've become close friends with throughout the pandemic. As a matter of fact, Erica is the only member of Neon Inferno who I knew really well before the pandemic started. Cody became a close friend of mine in the early days of the pandemic from playing Final Fantasy XIV with me. I became friends with Maya through some of our mutual friends who also were kind of into the same things in the same space. So she and I ended up in voice chats, and before too long, we've become really good friends. Ghost of the Valley was another streamer that just happened into my stream before I had much of a following at all. I think I was streaming for maybe 3 people tops the night he wandered into a stream of me playing Elite Dangerous and asked for recommendations on a ship build, and lo and behold, he and I just started chatting and having our own kind of friendship out of that. And so now he plays in my game every week, and we chat regularly. And Ghost Squad 9 was a mutual friend of a mutual friend of Cody's and mine. And he kind of followed the same trend that Ghost of the Valley did. We became really close friends, and all of this happened in the last 3 or so years during the pandemic, when I was really looking for any way to feel connected to the people around me. I have a high functioning form of autism. So for me, I get very set in a certain way of doing things, a certain way of experiencing life. And when that got interrupted, it was not great for my mental health, to say the absolute least. So having tabletop games carried me through that part of my life in a way that I don't know a whole lot of other things could have. It provided me social interaction with the people around me when I needed that the most. It provided me empowerment during my moments of powerlessness. It provided me a safer place to go to when there was a lot more uncertainty in the world around me. So in that same vein, in respect for what tabletop games have given me, that is what I want this channel, my streams, and ultimately any other content I create to be for the people I interact with. I want my community and the table that I provide to be a safe place for everyone to gather and play games with me. So whether you're here because you are a Cyberpunk Red player or GM or a fan of that game, or if you come to me here because I happen to have covered one of the games that you particularly enjoy, whether that be from Free League or any other publisher. I know I've got a bunch in the pipeline here that I am going to be looking into, regardless of who makes it. So one, I hope you all are excited for that as I am, but also two, regardless of where you come here from, I hope I'm able to provide that safe space and that welcoming community for you all, because ultimately that's one of the most important things for me as I have gotten into content creation and being an online persona. Those are the things that I value the highest. So with all of that said, I hope that you all look forward to the things to come. I hope you're all as excited as I am about this new change in the content on the channel and my ability to create more of it. But for tonight, that is going to be it. Again, my name is Emmerron. Please like and subscribe if you are curious where we are going next, if you've enjoyed the content you've seen so far. And regardless of where you are in the world, I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, or afternoon. I hope you stay healthy, stay safe. And until we talk next, peace.